Well, hi, and welcome to Celebration Bar Review. In this brief video, we want to talk a little bit about the New Jersey bar exam and the qualifications and the subjects that are tested, how the scoring is done, just some basic information for you. You'll also find on our website information about the multi-state bar exam. That's the other component of the test. And if you've got questions, invite you to contact me, and I'll give you some contact information at the end of this video. My name is Jackson Mummy, and I own Celebration Bar Review, and I've been teaching the New Jersey bar for over 20 years now. And at Celebration Bar Review, we've been officially doing the New Jersey exam for now going on our 20th year, with, I think, the highest published pass rate in the country. So this is an exam we do really well with, and it's an exam that you should expect to pass if you're taking it. So glad you're taking a little bit of time to find out more about the test. Some of this may be a repeat of what you already know. Some of it might be new information. And I'll just tell you that you can actually find out all of the details about the exam from the New Jersey bar examiners. Their website is njbarexams.org. Or you can just Google the New Jersey Board of Bar Examiners. So it's all there for you. Well, let's just dig right in. In order to sit for and to become a member of the New Jersey Bar, you have to pass the New Jersey Bar exam, obviously. You have to get a certificate of character, which means you have to pass character and fitness. You have to have passed the professional responsibility examination. This is called the MPRE, with a 75 or higher scaled score. That means you're getting roughly about 35 questions correct out of 50 in a 2-hour multiple choice exam. Or you can avoid that test altogether by having passed an approved law school course on ethics with a grade of C or better. And then you just take the oath of office after you've done all that. I make it sound so simple, and then you're a member of the New Jersey Bar. Now, to sit for the New Jersey bar exam, there are some specific requirements. First, you have to be 18 years old or greater. You have to have earned, and the more significant point here is you have to have earned a Juris Doctor, a JD, from an ABA accredited law school. In other words, if you're a foreign trained attorney, you will not be allowed to sit for this exam. I know that there are people out there, rather unscrupulous people, who tell you if you're a foreign trained attorney that all you have to do is come to the U.S. and take an LLM and then you can sit for the bar. That's not true in New Jersey. An LLM will do you no good here whatsoever. You have to have a JD from an ABA approved school. Now that also means for those of you that have gone to unaccredited schools or state accredited schools or correspondence law schools, you will not be permitted to sit for the New Jersey exam either. So pretty tight restriction there. All right, well, what's the application procedure in New Jersey? The good news is it's done almost entirely online. You can upload everything you need and then submit it. You have to do the character questionnaire first. This is submitted online, and then you have to make a payment at the time that you submit your character questionnaire, and I'll talk about those payments in just a moment. They start at a fee of $575, and for late applications they can go as $1,100, so it's important that you get them done early and on time. Once you've done that, then you can sit for the test itself. Now, there are some very specific filing deadlines in New Jersey, and you can save yourself a lot of money by meeting these deadlines. What's called the timely filing deadline, which is obviously easier to hit than to say, carries with it a fee of $575, and this is true whether you're a licensed attorney somewhere else or you're a law student or something other than that. If you're taking the February bar exam, and the New Jersey bar is given twice a year, in February and July on the last Wednesday and Thursday of the month. So last Wednesday and Thursday of February and the last Wednesday and Thursday of July. For the February exam, the timely filing deadline will be the month of October in the preceding year. For the July exam, timely will mean the filing during the month of March in the same year. Then there is a first late date. This would be for the February exam, the first half of November, and that carries an $850 fee. And for the July exam, it's the first half of April, again, $850. And then there's a final deadline. Beyond that, there's no ability to take the exam. And that would be, for the February test, the last half of November. For July, it's the last half of April, and that fee is $1,100, so fairly significant. To my knowledge, there is not a fee specifically to the New Jersey bar examiners to take a laptop. However, you will have to purchase software from a company called ExamSoft, and you can figure on about $100 for that. We do recommend that you take and use a laptop on the exam. I would say across the country these days, about 80% of all applicants use laptops, so we think it's well worth it and something you should be doing. Now, one of the things that makes the New Jersey bar unusual or interesting is that it's probably the most common second jurisdiction bar in the nation. And what we mean by that is that most bar exams test on Tuesday their state material, and then the whole country tests the multi-state bar on Wednesday. New Jersey uses a Thursday state testing date, which means that you can sit, for example, for the New York exam, the Pennsylvania exam, the Delaware exam, the Florida bar exam, taking those exams, state materials on Tuesday, and then taking the multi-state on Wednesday. Typically in that other state, some states require that you take it in their state, like Florida, Pennsylvania, Delaware, for example. And then you fly up to Trenton, and you take the New Jersey part of the bar on Thursday, and so you're getting one multi-state score that can be used in 2 jurisdictions. So that's a pretty good deal, and if you're in a jurisdiction where that's possible, I would encourage you to look at doing it. Now, if you're in a jurisdiction like Texas or California that has a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday exam, it won't work. You can't share those dates. So just be aware of that. Check the bar examiner's site. Check your bar testing date and other jurisdiction to see if they have reciprocity with New Jersey. If so, it's a terrific advantage for you to take it and get through that. You'll have to transfer your multi-state score from wherever you took it in another jurisdiction. And one thing to keep in mind that sometimes people get confused about, you can't use an MBE score from another administration of the exam into New Jersey. It's only concurrent. So if you're taking the 2014 exam, you can't use that in 2015 for a score. So just keep that in mind. Now, one interesting thing about New Jersey is that if you withdraw from taking the exam, if you've registered, paid your fees, and then you withdraw from a particular administration, you have to submit a new application along with an appropriate filing fee. So it's not always the full fee, but it's usually a pretty significant fee. All right, so that's sort of the technical, how it's done kinds of pieces. Let's look to the bar itself. And as we're talking about that, I obviously want to talk about what we do at Celebration Bar Review to prepare you. Now, I indicated to you that you have to have gone to law school in an ABA-accredited law school, and I think that that's a pretty minimal qualification in some respects, because this test in New Jersey is going to go really beyond what you do in law school. There are 7 subjects on the exam. 7 subjects are tested on the multi-state part of the exam, and there are 7 subjects tested in essay form on the New Jersey part of the exam. So let's go ahead and go through that. The multi-state exam is the first day of the test, and this is a national test, multiple choice, prepared by the National Conference of Bar Examiners. It consists of 200 multiple choice questions, as I said, from 7 subjects. And those 7 subjects are contracts, criminal law, constitutional law, real property, evidence, torts, and then starting in 2015, a 7th subject, federal civil procedure and jurisdiction, has been added. Now, you'll be given 100 questions split evenly among the subjects over a 3-hour period in the morning, and then 100 questions, 3 hours, evenly split again in the afternoon. We've got, as I say, a full package of information about the multi-state on our website. I'm not going to repeat that information here. I simply want you to know, for purposes of scoring, how the test works. Of the 200 questions you take on the multi-state, only 190 are actually scored, 10 are used for evaluation purposes. Out of those 190, each applicant has a raw score of the answers they answered correctly. To that raw score, a number will be added that represents a scaled score, which simply means an evaluation of this test against a base test given in the 1970s. And because that test in 1970-something was much easier than the test you'll be taking now, you actually get points added to your score, typically anywhere from about 10 to 20 points added to your raw score. Whatever that number is then becomes your scaled score from 0 to 200 points. So that's the first number you want to use and be thinking about. Now, the second day of the exam, And for the preparation of the multi-state, I should say that at Celebration Bar Review, what we do is to prepare you with written outlines of the law on all 7 subjects, with lectures on all of the subjects, and then with about, right now as I'm speaking, 1,900 practice questions covering all of the subjects, along with answer explanations and full-length tests that you can practice on. So we're going to tell you everything you need to know to get ready for the multi-state part of the day. Now, multi-state is worth 50% of your overall score in New Jersey, which makes it kind of nice. The other 50% comes straight from New Jersey. And you don't have to pass each section independently. It's going to be a combination of your 2 scores, but they're each weighted equally. So what's on the New Jersey part of the exam? Well, this is the great part for me. It's exactly the 7 subjects that I just told you about. I love that because it means you don't have to add on additional topics. For example, if you were taking the New York bar exam, there's something like 14 or 15 more topics. Georgia has 19 topics. Florida's got 9. I mean, there's a lot of topics that most states add on. New Jersey doesn't do that. The way that this will happen is that on Thursday, you'll be given 7 separate 45-minute essay questions. And the examiners are pretty specific about what they want. The questions, and I'm quoting from their site, are designed to examine the candidate's ability to reason, analyze, and express themselves in a lawyer-like manner. That's pretty straightforward. Not issue spotting, not memorization of rules, not recitation of elements, but reason, analysis, and expression in a lawyer-like manner. Your morning session will cover 4 questions in 3 hours, and the afternoon session will consist of 3 questions given in 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's pretty humane. And the fact that you've got those 7 subjects make it pretty reasonable. Now, a particular essay question can come across 2 or more of the basic subject areas, and they may be framed in the context of fact situations that involve some other peripheral areas. And this is where people sometimes get confused. Actually, all that's being tested are the 7 multi-state subject areas, but they can be put in the context or the frame of some other areas, which we will prepare you for in our course as well. But let me give you that list of framing areas. It would be agency, conflicts of law, corporations, equity, family law, partnership, the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 2, sales, Article 3, commercial paper, and Article 9, secured transaction, wills, trusts, and estate, zoning and planning, and disciplinary rules. Wow, he just told me this was an easy exam with 7 subjects, and he just, gave me this huge long list. Look, here's the thing. That huge long list is really not that you have to know anything about those subjects. It's just that you might get a question in the area of evidence, but it sits in a problem that has something to do with zoning and planning. And so you just have to understand some basics of all of that. So how do we deal with that? Well, as you're preparing for the multi-state subjects, we'll also be giving you background information on New Jersey topics, the list I just gave you, with some outlines, very brief outlines to read. We don't really lecture on most of that material because you don't need a lecture on that material, and there are no questions specifically on that material. This is literally just framing background information. So don't get too worked up about that. It's not a big deal, and we'll tell you everything that you need to know in the way of those framing areas. Now, in our course, the way that we teach writing is very much in line or in alignment with what the examiners say about how they grade the essay exam. The examiners say, and again I'm quoting, that the essay portion is designed to test your ability to demonstrate a basic and essential capacity for the practice of law. Your grade is based on the ability to identify and analyze issues and to present an organized, coherent, and well-written response within the prescribed format. And that, to me, is pretty manageable. You're really working through reading the problem carefully, answering the question that's given. The examiners say do not use a scattershot approach. In other words, don't issue spot. And discuss all sides of the issues. That's their words, not mine, although that's exactly what we do. Don't let your disposition of a problem preclude discussion of the other sides of the problem. Discuss procedures and remedies, rights and liabilities, both sides of the problem. Writing ability exhibited by your response will affect your grade. So we're going to teach you how to write, and the way that we do that is with writing workshops, These are 45-minute essays, so they're kind of a hybrid. They're not really that long 60-minute that you might do in some jurisdictions, and they're not the 30 minutes that you might get in some other jurisdictions. So you kind of a different pattern or style of writing here. And what we're going to do in the course is, again, give you the outlines and the lectures, but then for essay writing specifically, going through essays, doing some workshops, giving you model and sample answers to help you draft your answers, and then inviting you through a series of different mentoring options to send that work in, typically working with me one-on-one, to go through your essays and make sure that they're conforming to what the examiners want. We offer everything from a basic sort of no-frills approach in which you evaluate your own work against our model answers and essay discussions, all the way up to unlimited assistance in which I'm working with just a few people very intensely on their exams. So lots of different options and prices for you to consider there, but certainly enough help to get you through the exam. All right, well, what does it take to actually pass the exam? Well, remember I said that you've got 50-50 weighting between the multi-state and the essays. Each of your essay questions will be graded on a 7-point, 0 to 6 holistic standard. 0 being the worst, you don't submit an answer, 6 being perfect. Typically, you would think of anything at a 3 or higher as being probably a passing answer. Each grade is converted to a scale that equates, using an equi-percentile method, to the MBE scaled score. So they take each of your essays, they give it a holistic score, they convert that to a scaled score based on how each applicant's scoring relates to every applicant's MBE score. It's a fairly complicated method that we go through in the course, and I'm not going to weigh you down with it right now. But the net effect is that you end up with a 0 to 200 point MBE score and a 0 to 200 point New Jersey score. So you've got a total possible points of 400 points. Now, in order to pass, you need to have a combined MBE and essay score of 272 or above. So basically 136 on the MBE, 136 on the essays would do it. But you could have a 138 MBE and a 134 New Jersey and you still pass. The total has to be 272 or above. Now there is a provision in New Jersey that if your initial scoring brings you to a number from 260 to 272.9, they're going to regrade your exam. That could cause you to continue to pass. It might drop you into a failing zone. If you are at 259.9 and below, you fail automatically. There's no regrade available. If you at least get to 260, you've got a shot at a regrade with readers and bar examiners, and that's your only recourse that you get. So that's good news, and there's a lot of detail on the examiner's website about how they do that. But basically, we're aiming for that 272 or better. To get the 136 scaled MBE score takes about typically 125 raw questions correct. And again, to get the 136 on the essays means essentially 3s or better all the way across all 7 essays. So that's what's involved in that part of the process. And as I said, you have to pass the MPRE or waive in from law school. When you've done all of that, then those are the steps that you need to have passed the New Jersey bar. Now, as I said, this is a test that we've had great success with. Typically, our pass rate's over 90%. I would say over the last few years, the New Jersey exam has probably gotten a bit harder. What I've seen in the essay questions is a little bit more of multiple topics on the same question, which in a 45-minute question can be a little hairy to deal with, but nothing that's overwhelming and nothing you can't handle. It's just a little different. The people that fail the New Jersey bar, by and large, are people that did double jurisdictions like New York, New Jersey, and they put all their time and energy into the New York portion, didn't do anything to get ready for New Jersey, just came in and took it on a lark. Those are typically the people that fail. If you put some time and energy into this, whether it's your only bar or even if it's a second bar exam, you're probably going to pass. And if you're with us, and you're doing New York, New Jersey, or Florida, New Jersey, or some combination like that, we have a very favorable second jurisdiction pricing package for you, and we'll also balance your time between the 2 exams so that you're ready for it and prepared. Now, regardless of whether you're doing 2 jurisdictions or just New Jersey, for every student we'll prepare a study guide which is a list of assignments that you'll follow through the course, telling you the order of assignments and how long to take on each one. In general, to prepare for New Jersey and multi-state together, so as a full bar exam, you should plan on about 250 to 300 hours of total study time. If you're studying part-time, that means you should probably start somewhere from 4 to 6 months before the exam. If you're studying full-time, you can probably do it in 6 to 8 weeks, and we can accommodate any of those schedules and anything in between. That's one of the beauties of home study. Now, I know that you may have some additional questions about the exam or about our preparation, and I would invite you to take more time on our website, celebrationbarreview.com, or to go to the New Jersey Bar Examiner's website for information that they provide. And I would also invite you to give me a call directly, and I'd be glad to talk with you and answer any questions you might have. I can be reached directly at 864-365-6083. I promise I'll be the one that picks up the phone when you dial that number. So I'd be glad to talk with you, and I really appreciate you taking the time to find out more about the exam. I really look forward to having the opportunity to work with you, and hopefully to celebrating your success soon on an upcoming administration of the New Jersey Bar. Thanks.